Little Things is ABBA's first and only Christmas song. It was recorded and released 2 years ago in 2021. And it also happens to be ABBA's final single to date on a physical format. 2 years later, it's time to look back at the creation and history of Little Things, the actual naughtiness of the song, and the context of ABBA's Christmas song within their legacy. Hey. So, last time we explored the entire history of Christmas-related projects and music from the ABBA members, as individual artists and as a group. We got so much material, but as much as they've been close to that time of year, it would take more than 50 years until ABBA themselves finally wrote and recorded their first true Christmas song. It literally was the ultimate culmination. So let's explore the creation of this song. According to the single liner notes, Little Things was recorded in 2021 for ABBA's 9th album Voyage, their first new album in 40 years. As we have learned, the Voyage recording process took place over a period of many dates across several years, starting in 2017 and culminating in 2021. That makes Little Things one of the songs which were recorded close to the release of ABBA's Voyage album. Initially, Benny didn't think of it as a Christmas song. It was Björn who immediately thought it cannot be anything else. However, somewhat conflicting to Benny's statement is the fact that the composition itself goes back at least 16 years when Benny wrote it as a Christmas-themed piece. For the Swedish Red Cross campaign, Benny released a mobile ringtone called Red Christmas, and this melody would be resurrected for Little Things. More precisely, the melody appears in the final children's choir piece of Little Things. That makes me wonder if Benny decided to add this end part after Björn told him it's a Christmas song. But as far as I can tell, even the rest of Little Things is musically a variation of this final melody. Benny describes Little Things as a minuet-style piece. Many people feel that it's a simple song, and I agree that it feels very simple. But there are so many layers here, complexities in the music, structure and production, and even in Björn's lyrics. So this song, I would say, is one of the prime examples from Voyage and from ABBA's overall legacy of how they juxtapose simplicity with complexity in a most elegant way. The song starts off with Benny's piano. When the voices come in, Agneta is more to the right, Frida to the left, but they meld together so beautiful. The final line of the song, sang by the voices of children, hit me so hard. A song that my grandma sings. To hear Agneta and Frida come together again 40 years later and finally in union for a true Christmas song from ABBA is heartwarming and so emotional to me. This intimacy with just a piano and two voices makes us feel the simplicity of the soundscape. It all seems to be stripped down to the bare bones, but of course there is so much more going on. Before the second verse and chorus starts, harpsichord and strings join the piano, as well as bells, xylophones, flute and clarinet, which makes for the most perfect and yet elegant Christmas vibe. Before the start of the second verse, Benny incorporates a few notes of a popular children's song, a lullaby that has its roots in France. This song has been adapted into other languages and countries over the decades, a traditional song for Christmas. This tune was also adapted even by Mozart, which in turn kind of makes this part of Little Things another nod of Benny to classical music. Benny plays this melody in variation, so it's a seamless part of Little Things. When the second chorus ends, the tempo changes, he drifts away, and Little Things culminates in this amazing piece for children's choir, that mobile ringtone melody. Benny seems to be very fond of this tune because he already adopted it in 2007 for one of the songs for Benny Andersson's orchestra. Personally, I was so emotional when I was listening to ABBA's Voyage and this song for the first time, because I was so familiar with this little ringtone melody, which I always loved. And suddenly it was there, in ABBA's new album, and sang so beautifully evocative by children's voices. Incidentally, this is only the second time in ABBA's entire studio recordings that they share their voices with someone else, and once again it's the voices of children. In 1979, ABBA recorded I Have a Dream with a choir from the International School of Stockholm. For Little Things, they once again used the choir from the same school. Different children, of course, after 42 years. But Little Things is still very unique. For I Have a Dream, ABBA was joined by children. This time, they have the children sing entirely on their own for the conclusion of the song. The connection between I Have a Dream and Little Things is even more intriguing. Both have a children's choir, but I Have a Dream was also released for Christmas season. Before Little Things, it was one of ABBA's songs mostly associated with Christmas time, together with Happy New Year from 1980. One of the most fascinating things in Little Things for me is how the melodies just continue to climb. For example, when they sing, "As a brand new day is dawning, it's a lovely Christmas morning, it's our children playing with their new toys." It's one thing to write extensive melody lines like these, but it's even more remarkable if you are able to fill those many lines and short notes with meaningful words. Once again, we really need to give credit to Björn, whose lyrics are so smooth and elegant. Björn describes the song like this: "It is early, early Christmas morning. The stockings are hanging right there, and then this couple wakes up. This could be played for Christmases to come." If we take a closer look, the lyrics are full of ambiguity. Sweetness and innocence of children's joy and the Christmas presents is contrasted with the pleasures of grown-ups. Little things like my gentle touch. Why don't we stay in bed for a while? You'd consider bringing me a breakfast tray, but there's a price. What exactly is that happy noise as a brand new day is dawning? Is it the giggling of children, or is it that naughty adult moment in bed? It's both. The lines interchange seamlessly. In this new ambiguous context, the sweetness of Agneta's and Frida's voice has an entire new meaning, full of irony. They sing with such pride and sugary harmonies, little moments of happiness and of bliss. Does it ever get better than this? And now, even the super sweet children's choir at the end sounds extremely tongue-in-cheek. Little Things is pouring with variations of melodies, meaningful and ambiguous lyrics, and layers of soundscapes. And yet, on a surface level, it just seems like a cute, simple and inconspicuous song. It literally is, as the lyrics say, amazing that so little can achieve so much. For me, personally, ABBA's first and only Christmas song is one of their finest recordings and tunes. Unfortunately, looking at the fate of the song, it's somewhat underwhelming. The history of Little Things could have been so much better. It started with a music video that I don't even like to look back at or talk too much about. That is even more devastating considering that this is a music video for ABBA's unique Christmas song, and even more so that it may be ABBA's final music video, period. It could have been impactful, and yet it's not even close to matching the message of the song, its lyrics and the atmosphere of that peaceful Christmas morning with family. Instead, we are situated in a cold basement-like setting with school children in a dull staging and the obvious intention to promote ABBA's Voyage show. If anything good came from this video, it's the actual soundtrack of the song. It gives us Little Things in a slightly extended version with more instrumental bits from Benny surrounding the final children's choir part, and again adding a beautiful Christmas atmosphere. Little Things is ABBA's final single on a physical format to date. All royalties are donated to UNICEF. ABBA said, "We have done so for many years with our song Chiquitita, and now we have decided to give UNICEF a Christmas gift in the form of a second song, Little Things, from our album Voyage." Little Things was also the only physical single release from Voyage that was released after the album came out. So that single didn't offer anything new. It didn't include a surprise track or second song on a B-side, and it could have included the extended version of Little Things from the music video. Considering the charity background, it could have sold more units with a bonus track, and maybe it would have even reached better chart positions. The best chart position was number 20 in Sweden, followed by number 42 in Germany and only number 61 in the UK. But musically, ABBA didn't want their first Christmas song to be a big pop music moment, but instead a calm and melodic piece. Benny said that it's really not a Christmas song of the caliber like the ones played a billion times every Christmas, and that it's just a small song. Any success would surprise him. In 2021, Benny played a piano version of the song with him and Björn in conversation.
What is the song Little Things about?
Yes, you can ask me, Benny.
1 year later, Little Things was performed as an a cappella choir piece by the BBC singers. Concluding today's episode, I want to stress again that for me, Little Things is one of ABBA's finest offerings, from the singing, the melodies and orchestration, to this incredible final children's choir piece and the overall message. Artistically and emotionally, this song is a precious victory for me, and I loved it from the first moment I listened to it as part of ABBA's Voyage album. What do you think of Little Things? What was your first reaction and how do you feel 2 years later? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this historic and musical breakdown of this special song in ABBA's legacy, and I wish you a peaceful Christmas time. Alright, until then, hey do!